So in a pretty shaky global market, how exactly does a tech company find a way to grow? Well, today, we're going to dive right into the latest earnings call from MasTec. We're going to unpack their strategy for not just surviving, but actually thriving.
Okay, so the big question, right? The one on everyone's mind is this. In a world that's, full of economic uncertainty, where clients are putting off decisions and tightening their belts, how does a company like MasTec manage to find a path to growth? That's the real challenge we're going to get into.
So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the hard numbers, the financial snapshot. Then we'll unpack that three-pillar strategy that's making it all happen. We'll even take a quick trip around the globe to see how it's playing out, zone in on their huge bet on AI, and finally take a peek at what the road ahead looks like.
All right, first things first, let's talk numbers. Because in a market where, let's be honest, a lot of folks are struggling, MasTec is talking about consistent and stable performance. So, what does that stability really look like? Let's break it down. Okay, so their operating revenue, it clocked in at 940 crores. Now, while that might not sound like some explosive, off-the-charts number, it shows this really steady quarter-over-quarter growth. And frankly, that's a huge win when so many clients are holding back on spending. And check this out, a 14% increase. Now, you gotta know, this is their normalized profit growth. See, if you just glanced at the numbers, you might think profits went down, but that's only because of a one-off gain they had last year. So when you pull that out of the equation, your core business is actually 14% more profitable than it was a year ago. That tells you the business is fundamentally healthy.
And this next number? It's all about looking into the future. They have a $280 million order backlog. Basically, that's their pipeline of work that's already locked in for the next year. And get this, it's up almost 7% from last year. It's a super strong signal that more revenue is already in the pipeline.
So when you lay it all out like this, a pretty clear picture starts to form, right? Resilience, that's the word. You're seeing this steady positive growth across the board, revenue, profit, and that super important order backlog. The bottom line is simple. Even in a tough market, they're finding a way to grind out growth.
It's not just about the money they're making. It's about how well they're running the business. There's this metric, Days Sales Outstanding, or DSO, which basically just measures how fast you get paid for your work. A year ago, it took MasTec 95 days to get paid. Now, just 80. That's a huge improvement. It means they're getting their cash in the door way, way faster.
So, the big question is, how are they pulling this off? Well, it really boils down to a super clear and focused three-pillar strategy.
And honestly, it's refreshingly simple. Pillar 1, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Grow across the UK, North America, and APAC. Pillar 2, make AI the absolute core of everything you offer. And Pillar 3, go after the mid-market. Become the go-to partner for those mid-sized companies.
Okay, but a great strategy on paper is one thing, right? Execution is where it really counts. So let's do a quick global tour and see how this plan is actually working out in the real world.
First stop, the UK. This place is still their fortress. They are seeing huge demand from government and healthcare, and the proof is right there in the deals. We're talking a massive $50 million plus AI deal with the government, and another $15 million in finance just this quarter. It's pretty clear their core market is just firing on all cylinders. Now, hopping over to North America, it's a bit of a different story. Think of it as a turnaround in progress. They've put new leadership in place to really shake things up, but they're running straight into those market headwinds we mentioned earlier. Clients are just taking longer to make decisions. So the game plan here is to stay laser-focused on their sweet spot, healthcare and life sciences.
And rounding out our tour in APAC and the Middle East, the magic word is focus. They're not trying to be everything to everybody. Nope. They are zeroing in on the profitable stuff, especially, you guessed it, healthcare. And it's working. They just landed a pretty significant $7 million plus deal in that space.
Okay, now let's talk about the thread that ties all of this together, from the UK to North America to APAC. It's artificial intelligence. And for MasTec, let's be clear, this is not just some corporate buzzword. This is their big, core bet on the entire future of the company. And you really can't get a clearer signal than this. A direct quote from their CEO. He's not just seeing AI as another tool in the toolbox. He's calling it the single biggest wave to hit the entire industry in decades. And that belief, it's what's pushing the whole company forward. So, how are they actually tackling this?
Well, they've broken it down into 2 waves. The first wave they call AI for tech. This is all about the here and now. It's about using AI to make their own work faster, better, and cheaper for their clients, giving them real cost savings today. But the real prize, the big kahuna, is the second wave, AI for business. This is where they use AI to completely transform a client's whole operation. It's actually a really smart play. You use the first wave to solve today's headaches, which builds the trust you need to help them with tomorrow's massive opportunities.
Okay, so we've looked at the solid numbers, we've unpacked the clear strategy, and we've seen their huge bet on AI. Let's kind of bring it all together now and look at what's coming next. And it's really a classic story of balancing challenges and opportunities.
So on one side, you've got the challenges, the headwinds, right? Global uncertainty isn't just vanishing overnight. Clients are still being cautious, they're signing shorter deals. But then on the other side, you've got these really powerful tailwinds pushing them forward. That big order backlog, that's a great safety net. The new leadership, that's fresh energy. And maybe most importantly, that client demand for more efficiency, well, that lines up perfectly with their AI for tech offering. They've got the right tool for the job right now.
And that really brings us to the final big question. MasTec has shown they're resilient, they're using their AI strategy to handle today's tough environment. The real test, though, is can they ride this first wave of trust they're building into that much, much bigger wave of total business transformation? It's all about turning today's uncertainty into tomorrow's growth, and you can bet we'll be watching to see how it plays out.